Hey guys, and welcome back to the Impact Defense Podcast. And for this episode, we actually have a plan.
Wait, we have a plan?
For the podcast?
Well, kinda.
So, like usual then.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Impact Defense Podcast. We're dedicated to giving you the information that you need to help keep you safe. Now, let's join our hosts, Brian and Jada.
So to give you a little bit of insight of how we do the podcast. Generally, before we do the podcast, we look at each other and we say, today we're going to talk about this thing. And then we just kind of like sit here and have a conversation. I'm sure that comes across because we're not always like super organized, but
And super on subject either.
If you're ADD, you probably track us pretty well.
That's true.
You normal people probably don't even listen to our podcast.
That's also a possibility. All right. So this time we thought, we haven't really had a podcast where we just kind of lay out all the different types of trainings and stuff like that we offer. And it might be fun or at least informative to just kind of talk about like the different courses that we offer. And
really to list them, because we did one time where we were like, let's talk about some of our favorite courses that we offer. And then we ended up talking about the same one the whole time. Even though...
that integrated combat is our favorite one, though.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah. But our other courses are great, too. And we just kind of got hung up on the integrated combatives.
Yeah.
So we're going to lay out all of them today.
Yeah. So we're going to go from... We have courses that go anywhere from 2 hours up to 20 hours and all kinds of different things in between. And, depending on your amount of time that you're able to put in and everything else. Okay, so we're going to start with actually our longest running self-defense seminar that we've done. And that's our Women's Self-Defense Seminar.
The 2-hour one.
The 2-hour one. I've been doing women's self-defense seminars since before Kylie was born. And since you probably would have been in diapers.
Probably.
So, a long time I've been doing women's self-defense seminars. And those things have definitely evolved over time, as with everything.
It's so much better now. I help with them.
Yeah, okay. All right. But, it goes back to things that we've talked about before. Never stop learning. Never stop evolving. You always want to grow. So because of the fact that I have been training with so many different people, I've become a lot more educated through the years. If you took a women's self-defense seminar from me back in like 2005, then I guarantee you that this is completely night and day different than what we were doing at that point in time.
For instance, I am no longer 4.
That is true. Aside from that, I was doing them before then too. Let's even come into like closer time. If you have taken one from us within, let's say 5 years ago, it's completely different.
So basically the 2-hour women's self-defense course that we do, it starts out pretty close to the anti-abduction one. We go over a lot of the same awareness stuff and all of that, but it differs in that we cover, I guess, different types of situations than just the anti-abduction. We cover a tiny bit of anti-abduction, but it's mostly generalized self-defense.
Outside of that, we do like a 2-hour gun safety seminar, and those are pretty general and pretty simple. But in that seminar, it's just basically a simple, this is a little bit about guns, this is a little bit about revolvers, semi-automatics, pistols, shotguns, blah, blah, general information and safety and awareness kind of stuff. It's not shooting, it's not anything. It is the shortest and simplest gun seminar we do, and because it's not really talk about anything other than if you are brand new to guns, it's probably a decent seminar to get started with. If you have never shot a gun or messed with a gun, it's honestly probably a good seminar to deal with or to come do, because it's just pretty simple. Outside of that, we move into our 4-hour seminars. We have our abduction prevention seminars. And I think this is probably some of our biggest stuff that we do. These are the ones that we, more than anything else, that we travel out places and teach. These are the ones that, more than anything else, people request from us.
It's the one people are scared of the most because
Yeah.
you hear about it so often.
Yeah. And I think what differentiates what we do with abduction prevention and what other people do, even the people who teach really, really good abduction prevention stuff. And I'm not going to sit here and bash on other people that do it, but not everybody has gone through the same amount of training that we have. They're usually groomed over the internet or something like that and talked into leaving because it's harder to snatch a teen than a small child. You know, teens are usually more skeptical. They are less likely to be lured away in a
But in the same
situation.
sense, they're easier if you're
I
able
know.
to groom them online.
Yes. So, you know,
Because kids do stupid things online.
yeah.
I say
is
this,
it.
I am a teenager.
Barely. Yep.
Teenagers do stupid things online. I'm almost out of teenage.
Almost.
And I just stepped into teenager.
And then women.
Please don't do stupid things online.
I'm not. I'm
But-
not like other teenagers.
And then we have one specifically for women. With this one, we are discussing how women are grabbed, how women are taken away, and we really go into depth with each group. Sometimes, like a couple weeks back when we had one that is a whole thing, of course, that we'll actually talk about later with families, where we have the groups and we're able to kind of divide them up across things. And that's actually the one like we'll be heading up in Myrtle Beach when we go there to do that one this fall. But the biggest thing with us and what differentiates us from basically just about any others that I have seen and dealt with is that we really specialize in dealing with kids, teens, and adults differently in the different ways that they need it.
Instead of just one general.
Yeah. And then we do our active shooter response training. We do this for businesses, for churches, for just as a just general class. We'll do them for schools, for faculty at schools. But the whole idea behind that is to give them a plan. And we also do one that's slightly different, kind of for individuals. So if you are out and around, then we work on, let's say you're just in the middle of somewhere, you're in a mall or something like that, and something starts happening. We kind of work, we have one that are geared more toward individuals and one that are more geared toward like a group, like a facility, like a school, church, business, something like that. So, involving in those, what do you think about those, or what are your thoughts on those? Then we move into ground survival. Our ground survival,
Still on our 4-hour seminars.
yes, still 4 hours. We spend 4 hours on working from someone's on top of us on the ground. How in the world do you get up? Because, when it's an untrained type of situation, 90 to 95% of all fights end up on the ground. And again, that is because it's an untrained situation. People come in and they dive in for a punch and people get tied up and then they just fall on the ground. And sometimes you will find yourself on your back with someone on top of you punching you. And what we do is we, work to educate everybody and teach them how to actually get up and get out of that situation. And we spend 4 hours from all kinds of different positions, trying to deal with escaping and everything else.
So getting the advantage when you're on the ground.
Yes. Yeah, kind of trying to take control. We have another 4-hour seminar called the Weapons Survival, where we do all things weapons in 4
Stake
hours.
defense, gun defense, knife defense.
Yes. Usually in that order. Mainly because, like we've talked about before on this podcast, actually your likelihood of surviving is least against a knife than any other weapon. So we follow, look at the stick, or blunt force, let's think, and deal with the basic principles, and then we move into gun stuff, dealing with guns, and then move into actually knives and bladed weapons. So, it's I think that's generally been a pretty good, always you should try to run if you can, but this is basically dealing with in those moments that you cannot, because there are definitely those times that you cannot. We are actually certifying people to teach and teaching people how to teach abduction prevention.
Basically, our instructor certification is just giving you everything you need, the jump start you need to start teaching Impact Defense's anti-abduction course.
Yep.
Because our goal is to get it out there to as many people as possible.
Exactly.
And we can't do it from just one location.
Yeah, it's very true. We want to get other people out there actually teaching this and helping, spread the word. Because I think the more educated people are, the harder it's going to be for people to, abduct people. So it's just like everything else. The more educated the public is, the harder it is on the criminals.
Before we move into our 8-hour courses, this podcast is brought to you by ImpactDefense.online. Come join us for any of these courses.
Or you can schedule for us to come to you.
We can do the classes for any of those 3 states. And our whole goal when doing a class is actually to prepare people for what happens in reality when it comes to a self-defense situation. Not just put a gun in someone's hand and say that they're going to be safe for the rest of their lives. Because as you've heard us talk about in other of our podcasts, it's really important that you actually understand what can happen. So that is our goal with that one. Then we offer a basic pistol class. And this is really for new shooters to pistols. It's really, really great understanding, or it gives you a really good understanding of how the pistol works, how to shoot it safely, how to shoot it accurately, and just really focusing on that.
Then we have defensive pistol classes.
Yep, we have 3 of those. 1, 2, and 3, and we basically divide that up and just kind of get more and more advanced each time. So we're
Not only is it just good for you to have it, it is really needed for people to have it. More people need this course.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Because you're never going to get the same kind of atmosphere, the same kind of training, the same realistic application from just another basic course. So, defensive pistol gives you the groundwork you need to be able to shoot accurately under stress and pressure and without being able to really take the time to align your sights. It's so different from marksmanship. So, like, basic pistol gives you an idea of marksmanship, how to hit what you're aiming at. Defensive pistol kind of teaches you how to not hit what you're not aiming at.
That's a good way to put it.
And to get on target without having to take the time and line up your sights perfectly and everything, because in a defensive situation, you don't have the time to do that. So this is something that gives you a real understanding of how violence with firearms works and how to turn it to your advantage.
Yep. Then we have our basic rifle class. Our basic rifle class is kind of the same thing for rifle that it is for pistol. It's just basic breakdown. Talks about different types of rifles. Talks about just all the baseline stuff for rifles.
What you need to know about owning a rifle, what ammunition to put through your rifle, the different types of, just the different kinds of rifles, the differences in them, the cosmetic differences. It really gives you an understanding of, even if you're just around people who talk about guns a lot, this gives you something to work with.
Yeah, that's true. And then we move from there into defensive rifle. And defensive rifle does for rifles what defensive pistol does for pistols. And that's taking it from just a marksmanship kind of idea, shooting to a defensive shooting with rifles. And in that we are, again, 3 levels to that, getting more and more advanced, moving and shooting and everything else that you would do with a rifle in that. All right, guys, so my turn for a really quick ad. I just basically want to bring up our discount code with CERT Pistol. So we just got finished talking a lot about gun stuff. So basically all of our 8-hour courses are revolving around guns. And if you are looking to train for pistols or rifles, CERT Pistol has some of the best stuff you can get out there. They have something called the Stick. And the Stick actually takes one of their CERT pistols and inserts it into a rifle. And if you buy that whole piece, you can buy just the stick to go along with your CERT pistol that you already have, or you can buy it together, and with that you have a pistol to practice with and a rifle to practice with. And it is phenomenal. I really, really like it. And as always, you can use the coupon code. You can use the coupon code Impact Defense, all one word at checkout, to get you 10% off of anything that you purchase through CERTpistol.com. That's SIRT pistol.com.
And then another one of my favorites Integrated combatives.
I think it's basically everybody's favorite, right? All right, so integrated combatives, we have 3 different levels of integrated combatives as well. Integrated combatives covers everything from empty hand to ground stuff to, awareness, avoidance, to knives, blunt force, and even firearms. So we are looking at self-defense in an extremely holistic way across 3 days. It's 20 hours, and it is loads of fun. Everybody that did it talked about it for or everybody that has done it so far has talked about it for quite a while afterwards. Now, we are about to run another event, I think in August, toward the beginning of August, I believe, where we're going to do another event. So I'm very excited about that one. But this is also something that we go out and do. I've even had somebody ask me about coming to their church to do a men's group weekend for for men's group. I thought that was kind of cool. So like Kylie and Jada were saying earlier, basically all of these courses, we can work out to travel out and actually do these courses. Some of these things we've even done with certain groups over Zoom. I mean, there's different things that we can do. So if it's something that you're interested in bringing us out to do, be glad to do that. Otherwise, you can keep a look on our website at impactdefense.online and kind of see the training opportunities there for events that we have around locally that are open to the public.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to check out our website, impactdefense.online.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Impact Defense Podcast. If you'd like to learn more about how to keep yourself safe, check out the articles, videos, courses, and seminars at www.impactdefensenc.com. We also do training for security teams, churches, businesses, groups, and more. Stay sharp, stay focused, and train hard.